Shalom, Mashpaka. Thank y'all for coming today. Let me go ahead and get started reading. Matthew chapter 13, verse 1. And the same day went out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that when he went into the ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore, he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. Some fell on stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of the earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and some thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell on good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100, some 60-fold, and some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Mashpaka. Messiah is going to explain to you what he meant by the parable of the seeds. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speaking you unto them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever have, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that which he hath. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Yeshua, which said, By hearing you shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see, and shall not perceive. For the people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Verily I say unto you, truly I say unto you, that many prophets, righteous men, have desired to see those things which you see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them. Hear you therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone hear the word of the kingdom, and understand it not, then come the wicked one, and catches away that which was sown in his heart. This is which receives seed by the wayside. The word therefore heart in Hebrew is lab, and it means your mind, your thoughts, your intellect. This is, so let me read that again. When anyone hear the word, Bamadabar, hear the word of the kingdom, and understand it not, then cometh the wicked one, Hashatan, and catches away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside. So when you hear the word and you don't understand it in your mind, in your thoughts, in your perception, in your comprehension, then come the wicked one to steal away the seed, the word, the word that was given to you. But he and the word is the word of Yahweh. He exists. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same as he that hear the word, Bamadabar, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet have he not root in himself, but endureth for a little while. For when tribulation and persecution arises, because the word, by and by he is offended. If the word that you receive is not received as precious to you, it's not seen in its valuable state, when prosecution comes, if you don't understand the meat, the reason, the purpose of the word, if you don't have a love for the word, for the Bamadabar of Yahweh, when prosecution come up and temptation and all these things arise, you'll fall away because the word don't have no root in you. He also that receives seed among the thorns is he that will hear the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he become unfaithful. When Ashal, just like Ashal, when he sold his own birthright for something to eat, he didn't value the word enough, the food. And just like some of us, in order for us to get a position, in order for us to be to fit in with everybody, and I'm finna say this in this way, in the synagogues, in the meeting places, what they call church, but really a synagogue is wherever y'all gather together, right? But wherever y'all gather together, people don't want to be exiled or excommunicated. The cares of this world. You're not going to fit in with the Republican and the Democrat Party. You're not going to fit in uh, with the society of us that say I'm an atheist. You're not going to fit in with the people that's trying to change you, that's trying to choke the word out of you. So he say, he also that receives seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world, you know, uh, and for in the deceitfulness of riches, because riches can be deceitful. Choke the word, because some people hope in riches. Choke the word, and he become unfaithful. All right. But he that receives seed into good ground is he that received the word by Dabar, and understand it not. Look at this, and understand it, my bad, which also bear fruit. So he understand what the word is saying, the purpose of the word. You remember we were studying the reason why Yahweh say he want to restore unto us a pure language, the pure understanding of our language. Because some say that's not talking about language right there. But when you look inside of Barashayah, when the in at the Tower of Babel, when the languages were confounded, the same word that was used there is the same word that was used in the prophet when he said that the people will be restored unto a pure shapah, a pure language. Amen. So Yahweh, the prophecy was that we will be restored to a pure language so that we can understand, so that we can perceive what the word say. But many are rejecting to read and understand, so they rejecting to be a part of the process of growth, so that they can understand what the scripture is saying. All right, and bring it forth, some 100-fold and some 60 and some 30. Some of us still want to hold up that Sagittarius Borgia and hold up all of the things that was given to us in the lands of our captivity. Some still want to pray to that black stone, and some still want to pray to those images that we, many of us at B times, worship and bow down to inside of church. And it's not just inside of the Catholic Church. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which planted seeds into good ground. Planted seeds, that's what sow means. Planted seeds into his field. But while men slept, because man got to go to sleep. But while Adam slept, his enemy, because Adam was to be the make sure to take care of the garden. Your mind is a garden. But while Adam slept, the enemy came and planted tares, evil seeds, seeds against Yahweh's natural seed, the natural understanding, the true understanding, the true word, the true bar of Yahweh. They sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared tares also. In my grandmother and grandfather's garden, I say grandmother because that's who the one that I was always out there with. My grandmother was the one that spanked us. We didn't want no whooping from granddaddy. We didn't want no whooping from daddy. Because when daddy gets you, you gonna wish that you would have never played around. And when grandmama gets you, that ain't somebody you want to play with either. But when granddaddy gets you, it's time he gonna put in work. But inside of my grandmother's garden, we had to pull up the root, pull up the pull up the 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 plants that she didn't plant in there, because the weeds, my bad, the weeds that grow up inside of the garden, they are plants, and some of them have their good place inside of a garden. Some of them will suck up some of the water, to help your plants grow better. But inside of a garden, then there's some you got to pull up those weeds out of there, because some weeds is like a virus. Weeds will eat up the nutrients that you want to give to the plants that the seed that you want to grow. But there are some weeds that grow up in there. I don't know how they get there. Maybe a bird dropped it when they fly and poop. Maybe it came by way of the bees. Maybe it came by way of other bugs that I don't want to name on here. Some crickets. I just say the cricket. But bugs carry seeds on their legs. That's why they have hair on their body. What we call it is hair. And they drop seeds. And so you have to go out there and make sure you clean the garden. And with our mind, we got to make sure we keep it clean. But there's a seed that has been going on in Yasharal. This seed that was planted, and it's not the only tare that was planted, but this seed that was planted looks identical and feels similar to the truth. This seed that is planted is sown in deception. It gives you a false sense of shalom. This seed say that we do deserve mercy. That's a good seed, but it's mixed in with a tear, because inside of this seed that they say we deserve mercy, this seed say that the truth is not the only way. There are many ways to the Father, and subtly many of us may not perceive that this is a seed that we all have to battle. And this seed comes in subtle ways, like when scriptures come up, and the world, when I say world, it means the kingdom that we're in right now, that we're living under right now, that we're not ruling right now. That I was talking to a brother last night, those thoughts, and I felt that seed. I felt that other seed, that there was a tear in there, and the tear didn't come from him. The tear came from the wicked one. He planted the seed. Have you ever noticed that when we think thoughts, and I'll tell you what the seed was, when we think thoughts, that our mind is operating, and sometimes we get choked up on the thought, and we relax on a certain area because we're trying to make sense of things. And I had to learn this the hard way. When I was 17 years old, I had went through excruciating pain. I was Baker active, and I went through excruciating pain. They Baker acted me because they said that I have religious delusion. That's what they call a mental illness, a religious delusion, where you actually believe in what the words say, and they said that I'm believing in an imaginary friend. So uh, they gave me, sedated me with some stuff. I believe they call it Thorazine, and they call another one Haldol and Benzodine, whatever they call them things, what they inject inside of your blood, right? And your brain, um, when it's something getting your blood that's not supposed to be in there, you know, life is in your blood, and when they injected that stuff in me, and not just me, but I'm a witness, and it caused a part of my brain to be injured. So uh, what some people experience when they think, I don't experience it like them. So when my thoughts, uh, it's like a part of me that I did not know existed. You don't want to be aware of all the evil. You don't want to be, you don't want the evil to be amplified around you. And so when some people, uh, they don't, they they haven't been introduced to different kind of evils, and I can say that some of our brothers and sisters have experienced things that me and you have not experienced. So if they express to you, Brother K. Judah was showing a video of how some of our sisters was locked up inside of a cage as children. They felt like it was unfair, and they was protesting over there. I want y'all to check out that video that Brother K. Judah had put up about the sisters that went through that situation. Let the sisters on the video tell it for you. All right? But there's different levels of suffering that people go through with, and it opens a place where you didn't know about, like to be aware of certain evils, right? And so when you introduce to seeds, some of these seeds, some of these wicked tares that people have, if it didn't come from them. Y'all got to understand this, that these tares, these thoughts, these intruding thoughts, all of them don't come from you. Somebody planted seeds. Somebody that didn't believe that you was worthy of being who you really is have planted seeds. When people said that we as a terrorist organization, a hate group, and they don't point out that the people that's been a hate group since Nebuchadnezzar, they never see that as a hate group. They call them civilized people, you know. But they calling you, the children of the victims in which you are one yourself, they call you a terrorist in a hate group because you standing on the truth. You want better for your people. But there's a seed, and I'm going to tell you about that seed. But I'm going to explain it to you this way. Animals have a seed inside of them. And I'm going to break this seed down to you. And I heard a brother talking about this. I asked him this question, and I determined in myself that I was going to come on here and elaborate on the importance of your seed, right? And so there's animals that have a seed, right? And many of us that may not understand or perceive why it is so important for the animal to pass on his seed and for the female dog body to prepare itself to be available for the other dogs, for the dog seed. And since we love animals, a lot of us love animals, I'm going to use an animal to explain this to you, right? So the dog, and see, dogs have a different nature. Some of us is acting on the dog nature. Our natural nature is not to be like the dog. But I'm just using the dog as an analogy so that we can understand this right here in a different format. Let me give a salute to the family that came in. Shalom, A. Judah. But a dog, in order to pass on his seed, to be obedient, you know, to pass on his seed, he needs a female dog, right? He don't go and find a cat. Now they do mix dogs and mix different animals. But let's look at the jackals in Africa, the jackal dog, the dingo dog. The dingo. The dingo, they all are dingoes, right? They have jackals out there in Africa. There's foxes in Africa. You understand? There's hyenas in Africa. Now, somebody may say, well, what if we domesticate this animal? What if we tame this animal? Guess what? Every animal on earth can be tamed. But who could tame the tongue? Right? Who could tame the tongue? So every animal on the earth has been tamed or can be tamed, but who can tame the tongue? But when you look at nature, the animals speak of the word of Yah. The animals speak of the Bamad Dabar of Yahweh. The jackals and the dingoes and the hyenas bear seed after their own kind. This is naturally done in nature. The birds, the pigeons bear after their own kind. The doves bear after their own kind. Does the pigeon, because he see a dove with a dove, say, I will retaliate and only mix with doves? Do the dove say, I will retaliate because I see a pigeon making eggs with another pigeon? Say, I will retaliate? And now I will go over to the pigeon and I will plant my dove seed. They did genetical studies about a camel, they say, when it stinks. And the seed of that camel, they was trying to find out a compatible seed for the camel, right? And they said many of those experiments had died, and many of them didn't mix well, so they perished, right? When you look at your nation, when you everything that Yah does is for a reason. Adam was to be over planting seeds. Even Adam had seeds inside of him to be planted inside of his earth, which is flesh, bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh, awar, inside of his flesh. That's why he said awar Yah, my flesh, bone of my bone. And Adam was the flesh of Hawa, but Adam did not come from Hawa, but Hawa came from Adam. But they had the same flesh. And inside of Adam were many nations. But there was a great portion of the seed of Adam that will perish, but yet and still through Seth, there were many seeds in Adam. Habal, I didn't see any records that Habal had any daughters or sons. Habal was murdered by his brother Qayan, Cain. Murder, and let me explain this to you, because that case that's going on, that haven't come out yet, and some of already made our opinion about the case of Brother Camelo and the other, I'm gonna just say gentlemen for other people, so we can not disrespect people, family, while they're going through mourning. But Habal was murdered because Qayan killed him. He murdered him. Habal in Qayan situation is not the same thing. It's not the same thing as Cain's situation. Now, and I look inside of the scripture, and I'm about to talk to the elder at the Hebrew Institute of Technology about this right here. But I looked inside of the scripture, and I seen the word that they use for kill. They put it there for Habal and Qayan. But when you look inside of the scripture, they put the word for kill in self-defense there. So my question to the elder at the Hebrew Institute, if we say we're going to go by the older, then we need to find more than one witness, right, elder? So we're going to go by the older, then we're going to see it as, well, they said it right here, this means murder. And what if they mistranslated that, elder? What if they mistranslated that there on purpose, elder? And then they put on another. So that's the question I had for the elder at the Hebrew Institute. Elder, can you please look into that for me, because that's been troubling me. I looked inside of the Hebrew, and the word that they put there for kill, Habal was murdered by his brother Qayan, because Yahweh said that Qayan murdered him. So, elder, I wanted you to look into that for me, and I hope that people that update history don't go and confuse that as well. So I know the elder got books and stuff, so that's why I'm asking this question in the open, because the elder got books. But anyway, murdering seed is removing it away from existence. When Adam planted the seeds, he was over all the seeds. Adam was over all the arats. The animals' bodies was made from the arats, from the earth. Their seeds were made from the earth. Their bodies went back to the dust, because they were made from the Ipar. So they were made from the dust of the Arats. All right. So if Adam was over the garden to till the ground, and he was over and inside, and how you till the ground and seeds, nana grow the trees, and nana grow the food and all that. Nana is inside of the animals, the Bahama, the beast, and all that. The nana is inside of the animals, right? But I said nana, but there's a different word for the seed that brings forth this kind of life, right? Nana brings forth the sprout, like the seed. But sometimes we use the nana to explain about people, right? When he said Yasharal is the olive tree, right? The olive tree have branches. The branches are the tribes of Yasha'al and their denominational families inside of their house. And it don't mean no church either in the sense that we thinking about today, because when we think about church, we thinking about a religious organization that you can bow down and assimilate and join. But this is not how seeds grow. Seeds don't grow by joining a fraternity or joining a religion. Seeds grow by being planted in the rocks and growing out of the ground. But they are mixed religion with identity of bloodlines and cause a lot of confusion around here. Armand and mincing and maxing up seeds have caused a lot of confusion in this nation that have been beat down so much and told that they being a nation is not important, and mincing in tares with truth and truth with tares, and it make it hard for us to discern between a tare and wheat. But look at this right here. I'm going to read 26 and I'm going to be done, Mashpaka. Let me move back over. All right, I'm going to read 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So once the trees grow up together, just like your thoughts, then you'll be able to perceive it. So once the thought, you start understanding that thought process, also you got to see it like this too, because Yahweh said that they did not understand it, and he's talking about the nana and your brain. The word of Yahweh is a seed, it's a nana. Bamad Dabar is seed. And once it reached past that sprouting stage and it started growing and you start seeing the fruits of that thought, now you know what kind of thought it is. So now you know what to do with that thought, right? You cast it down by the word of Yahweh. And what is the word of Yahweh? The words that came out of his mouth. Man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh, he who exists. Then appeared the tares also. That's what Yahweh means. So if somebody say, well, what's his name? He exists. Yahweh. He, Yah, Hawa exists. He lives. Because without a creator, there is no creation. And we studied that. So the servants, so the slaves of the household, so the abid of the abad of the householder came and said unto him, and see, this what kind of servitude, that's a righteous servitude, where somebody ain't beating you all up and destroying your language and planting and mixing and mashing up seeds and causing confusion and causing two gates to war against each other, because one gate is established under the governance of the powers of this earth, of this kingdom, and one is of the kingdom that is to come. Sir, Adonai, Adon, didst not thou sow good seed, Tawab Nana, Nana Tawab, in your field? From whence then have it tares? Then he said unto them, an enemy, Hashatan, have done it. So when somebody plant in a seed in a place where it's not supposed to be, for the tree to grow up how it's supposed to be, that's, do we see that that's an abomination for you to have a grapefruit, pineapple, orange tree? Do we see it's abomination for, because animals can see that it's abomination to have a half fox and half wolf and half cricket? He said unto them, an enemy have done this, a supplanter, an enemy have done this. He said unto them, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? He telling you how he want his garden planted. He is the one that plant the garden. Hold on, fam, I'm writing to my wife. He's the one that planted the garden. But look at what he say. Now this is our king. I know a lot of us, we don't like the instructions of the leaders that we have over us. You know, some of us, we want to do what's in our heart. We want to do whatever we feel. But see, that's another deceptive seed. Many of us may not see that. But a world without structure and a world where leaders don't have to be obeyed, which Yahweh is our king. And under him, he calls leaders. Even if they the wicked, Yahweh is the one that established the wicked as kings, as well as the righteous. He established, a lot of us don't want to receive this, but it was Yah that established Nebuchadnezzar. It was Yah that established Christopher Columbus in them. And it's Yah that he raises up kings and he breaks them down. That's what he does. Many of us say, well, I won't serve Elohim like that. But he allowed us to be a good steward or a wicked steward over our minds. Let's look after the seed in our mind. Is it okay? Do you want Yahweh's will to be done in your life? Do you want to live in a harmonious way? Because he is the creator of creation. Anything out of his harmonious order is an abomination. There should not be a such thing as a half whale and half hippopotamus and half lion. There should not be where somebody would create a cage for their children. The children don't know which path to take, because whether if we want to receive it or not, every nation have their own spirits over them. And when we mince and mix and do all that, we giving our children the unwanted dangers that they don't want. And I'm finna say this before I go. When you look at the people that call themselves Arabs, we know how mixed people look. So if they say that they have some blood of Kemetic people in them, and when you look at the people that say that they are Spanish, we know that they have some indigenous in them. But what happened to the indigenous people's inheritance when they came down now? Is it a loving thing for a person to come down and force themselves and slaughter the men and make their seed the new seeds of that place? Is it righteous for the men? Is it a good thing for men? Think about it. Your inheritance is your earth, right? Her inheritance is your seed. You go and you planting seeds in private property just because somebody put a sign up that say private property is no longer private property. That man wife, that's what female means in Hebrew. The Asha of Yapah is the wives of Yapah. That's what Asha means. It means wife. The Asha of Yashakar is the wives of Yashakar, Ashawath. The Ayash, the males, the husbands of the Ayash of Yashashakar belong to their inheritance. And when you mince and mix them, it causes confusion, just like the elder said. And many of us are in the business of moving old landmarkers because we are being naturalized in these places. And I know some of these words that we hearing don't make us feel good. But just because it don't make you feel good, like grandma say, baby, you got to drink that oil. Take your oil. I know we didn't like to drink that castor oil that grandma used to give us. But the castor oil, grandma used that as medicine. Sometimes what we don't like is we need. Sometimes we don't want no bitter. Sometimes we don't want no castor oil, but castor oil is good for you. Grandma said castor oil is good for what ails you. And this word is the oil of Yah. And having this oil inside of us is not an abomination. But replacing this oil we're allowing seeds inside of our mind that causes us to destroy ourselves. All right, and now I'm finna go. And I thank y'all for coming and listening. I hope uh, that this word fell on good, that this seed fell on good ground, and that the worries and the cares of this kingdom won't choke it out of you because you don't know the value of your seed and the value of your egg, family. Obey y'all. I mean, we done tried everything else, and we all born trying other things. Let us obey him. Let's give him a try. Let's give the one that created us a try. Nobody said, grandma and them say, nobody said it's gonna be easy. But grandma say, I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. So this seed right here that's planted right here, my request to you, my request to you family, just plant it and leave it alone. Leave it alone, family. Plant it and leave it alone there. I know people ain't gonna like it. Sometimes seeds grow up in a harsh situation, scorching sun, bugs biting all on you. Somebody may walk on you, walk all over you. But no matter how hard it get, no matter if you grew up in a harsh predicament, no matter what you may be dealing with, whatever may be ails you, no matter what you may be facing in your life, what things you may be dealing with privately that you need to take to y'all. Whatever you dealing with, and I say, and that means whatsoever, like grandma them say, whatsoever it may be. Take that to y'all. Robert Bond did some stuff in his life, Reuben, but he's still a son of Yahweh. That does not take away who you are as a person. But what saved Robert Bond, he could have died a son of Jacob. But what saved him is that he loved the word. He turned and repented. Robert Bond wanted to save his brother Yahweh, Joseph, before he was in Kemet as Sopnot Paneah. He wanted to save him when he was just a little boy. Robert Bond had a good heart. The elder he made some mistakes in his past, but Robert Bond was called before he was born. Reuben was called the firstborn, even though he didn't get to enjoy being the firstborn. He's still a seed of Yahweh. Blessing on you, Vonta. Family, we got to stop letting our past, because just because you grew up, Tupac said that that Negroes in diaspora, he said we like the rose that grow from the concrete, fam. Nobody don't ask why the rose that grew from the concrete got damaged petals. They should be happy that they saw that the rose, they should be examining the rose to figure out how did that rose grow from the concrete. How that is a miracle that the rose grew from the concrete. Family, we are seeds that's growing up in the concrete, growing up with people put stuff over you so that you couldn't grow. But some type of way you bust through the cracks. Your grandparents done went through so much. I know they did because mine did, and they passed the legacy down to us. Y'all is not no worthless people. Every last 12 tribes of us, well 13, and the one for y'all. Every last 12 of us, we're not no worthless people. Even though people think that we're supposed to always be perpetual slaves, like Jeremiah said. Are we just born to be slaves? Because it sure wasn't the European Empire enslaving in Africa. And one of the Kemetic people enslaving for us. We were the slaves. We were the slaves. They took that book out of context. The book don't say that Canaan from the seed of Ham or Kemetic people or any of the others will be dispersed, but leave you the identity of your grandpappy and your grandmammy and your auntie and your uncle and your cousin them. He leave it with you to know who you is. Don't let that deceptive false peace, just because you don't hate other seeds, roll up in your heart and make you feel like, because you know they call that post-traumatic slave trauma, that's a symptom of it, where in order to appease other people's feelings and hearts towards you, you must dismantle who you are as a person and assimilate yourself by exalting other people and saying, I am who this person is. You don't have to do that. Be who Yah called you to be. You are Yasharal, no matter if nobody wants you to receive it or not. The scripture and everything in there is pointing to you. You know that our people had Hamashiach killed. Just because you prosecuted, don't take away from who you is. Fam, I'm about to go. I thank y'all for coming. You have a wonderful day too, Vonta. Tell Freezy I said hey if you see him before I do. All right, fam. Shalom, K. Judah, and all of the rest of y'all. I got to go. Shalom.
To some that done went on. Here's the name of three off the top of the head. Jay Green.
Soap Money. Gerald Lewis.
Gerald.
Listen
I know that we gotta go someday. But somehow we learn to live with the pain that won't go away. In the ghetto, in the ghetto, in the ghetto. In the ghetto, in the ghetto, in the ghetto. In the hood, in the hood, in the hood, man. In the hood, in the hood, in the hood, man. Your turn, Jitty boy, say it for me, man.
Okay, in the project, man, in the project, how I do?
Never met the president, so I ain't never met a real drug lord. 94 crime, bill, scooter, prison, pipeline, mass incarceration. For destruction of a nation, instituted integration. Why we bear the bank for money, why the church be making billion? Who we be? We so captive, we reject our father and a mother.
My daddy.
Peter popping off early in the morning, man. With some tap water saying it's a miracle. Whoa, my brother out of the gates, it's a medical. With them hustle hard, but I do loud. One try separated by the distance in the time. It was done by design to the mind.
Much oppression.
North side, south side, east side, west side, every side. There's been a great divide. Guam, Yasharala. In the ghetto, return to the covenant. In the ghetto, ghetto. In the ghetto, in the ghetto, in the ghetto. In the ghetto, in the ghetto, in the ghetto. In the hood, in the hood, in the hood, man. In the hood, in the hood, in the hood, man. Your turn, Genie boy, let them hear you rap.
Return to the covenant and get some gap.
I'm trying to tell you, we need each other, family. Let's not separate. Let's come together in love.
And now I know.